thrashes England in yet another dominating performance and moves to the top of the table. New Zealand and Australia give us arguably the best match of the tournament. South Africa and Pakistan play a comical thriller where South Africa almost lets the C word chokers bite them again. Bangladesh continues to create upsets in the World Cup after losing to Netherlands. This and a lot more in yet another episode from the power-packed weekend that we had in the 2023 World Cup on the Common Fan podcast. Hello, everyone watching and listening from wherever you are. I'm Prasanna, and I'd like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners and pay respects to elders past, present, and emerging.
Boss, I need to stop you there. Even I want to acknowledge my current landlord. He's an absolute pest, a jackass of the first order, and he's the reason why I have to shift houses in the next few days.
Why do you want to acknowledge him then, Ritvik?
Where not to rent out.
Oh, cheers, yeah, true. Shitrentals.com.
Yeah, we need a last door for that.
Yeah. Well, Vijay, thank you for joining us. Earlier today, you sent a message to everyone on the Instagram saying you were with goats. 2 questions. One, are you taking care of baby Vamika for us? And if so, couldn't Virat and Anushka find someone better?
To answer your first question, PK, I am not wearing the creepy hat today, and so I am not taking care of any babies either. And yes, I was in the presence of goats, but they were like actual goats, and we were like looking for a nice setting. I've been shooting my music video in the southern parts of Tamil Nadu, so it's been an interesting ride. And yeah, there was this one hilarious position where this camera guy, friend of mine, he was right under a couple of goats that were on a hill. So if that goat had pooped at that point, it would have basically rolled down and probably like got stuck on his hair. So this is all too much information that you guys did not need to hear, but because you brought up goats, I brought up goat and everything that comes with them.
Fair enough, fair enough. Also, on another note, our deepest condolences to the family, friends, and fans of Chandler. Matthew Perry, you provided many one-liners, and we pray that your soul finds peace. Moving on, over the weekend, we saw some cracker games. So let's start with the first one, India versus England. India continues to prove the old adage right. That is, the Poms suck at sport, especially the ones they've invented. So on that note, also, thank you to Rakshit Sood for the background photo with the caption of "The English will die in the heat." And they certainly died. Whether or not it was the heat or Shami, we will discuss later. So Ritvik, was this the tough game India needed before the semi-finals?
Well, I wish it were. I wish the game went closer than what it actually did. But unfortunately or fortunately, our bowlers had different plans. In the first half, Rohit Sharma's belligerence has been refreshing. It's been nothing short of phenomenal. And even Sky in the end, the way he steered the innings, they took us to a respectable total. For the other batsmen, especially Gill and Iyer, I think they need to know that cute-looking 20s and 30s will not help anymore. Virat was due for a failure, so he's anyways going to come good sooner or later. That said, I think Shami has given the Indian think tank a lot of headache. I don't think Siraj is the automatic first choice anymore. It's going to be Shami once Pandya comes back. So, Manan, did you actually anticipate that the defense of 230 and otherwise paltry score would be that easy?
Good morning from another hazy morning in Delhi. Whatever doubts or haze we had on England's chances of making to the semi-finals or not making to the semi-finals were cleared out yesterday, and they're not making it. And basically, after a World Cup that they never won, the semi-final that they will never make. Now, from a perspective of 230, I thought, I thought it'll go 2 ways. One, either we'll lose in 30 overs or we'll win the game. And we won in almost 30, which was great. I think one big difference between the two teams, because the wicket was difficult to bat on, was Rohit Sharma. It was a brilliant innings. Yes, Shami's first spell was one of the ages, but Rohit was just too good, and he has been touched with too good in the tournament. The best one was Shami's Stokes dismissal when Shami bowled him. It reminded me of 96 Amir Sohail Venkatesh Prasad. The only difference is, Stokes could not just hit him for a 4 in the previous ball and point it, yes, I'll hit you again. But other than that, it was just a clinical bowling performance that we had yesterday. And initially I thought, okay, maybe there's one game we should lose, law of averages and whatnot. Maybe this is turning out to be the 2003 or 2007 of Australian performance. And, we as Indians always feel tired, har jayenge, let's have a bad omen aside, let's lose one game and all that. Maybe we are that good, we need to have confidence in ourselves. Vijay, what did you think? Did you actually get to catch the game and install the production and music video?
Shooting my music video.
Yeah, I was actually out and about, so I missed the Indian innings completely. I did follow score updates. There were like the network was on and off. I was a bit surprised at the low score, but then again, it's a Lucknow pitch, and Lucknow can be unpredictable at best. So I did catch most of the English innings, and given how short it wasn't a lot, but it was really good to see our bowlers on fire. And coming to your point about should India have lost it? I know we believe in Nazar, Drishti and all of that in India, but for once it would be nice to just confidently win every single game in a World Cup all the way to the final.
Yeah.
So that's what I am rooting for right now, because again, Nazar nahi lag jaye, but the team is looking really good. I'm touching wood right here. So let's just hope we carry on the momentum. There was the question of course, Shreyas Iyer and Shubman Gill's form. Shubman Gill, I don't know. I think I would give him a longer row. Shreyas Iyer, I think Shreyas Iyer, I would look upon a little more lightly if he didn't play those shitty shots when he gets out. The way, I don't know how he got out yesterday. I haven't seen it, but generally it's just very ungainly to look at the way he gets out. Like he gets out to a short ball, or going for a shot that wasn't there. So I feel like it's more of a temperament thing with Shreyas than anything else. And it remains to be seen. Shami is indispensable to the side right now. So I don't know if Siraj will be the one making way, or potentially it could even be Shreyas, given if Pandya is back in, he is a batting option at that spot. I don't know if the batting would significantly weaken by replacing Shreyas with Pandya, but we would get an extra bowling option. So there's that. Interesting times.
Let's carry our Nazarbattus black caps to the semi-finals and win it this time around.
Black caps, but not the creepy PK hat.
Yes.
No, funnily enough, good thing that Vijay mentioned Shreyas Iyer, because one of the astute listeners and occasional contributors that we've got, Amit from Sydney, asked this question and Vijay has responded. So I'm going to ask Manan and Ritvik, what are your thoughts on Shreyas Iyer?
Honestly, I'm an Iyer fan. I would not drop him immediately. I would give him one more game and see how he does. And if he fails again, then probably get Ishan back in. That said, even a blind man could have seen the way Vokes was setting him up for the short ball, for the inevitable short ball yesterday. And there seems to be a very strong technical flaw in his batting, which other teams have figured out. And generally, I have not seen flaws of this magnitude get corrected with batsmen. That's probably the reason why Rana could never become a Yuvraj, or Ganguly and Steve Watt till their last innings continued to be peppered by short balls. But maybe one more game.
Prithvi Shaw could never become a Sachin Tendulkar.
He still has time. He still has time before he becomes a Kamli. Before he becomes a Sachin.
Ouch.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would drop him for the next game itself, given that, we sort of have a leeway since we are pretty much sitting tight for the semi-final. And bring Kishan back in not only gives the left-handed bat option, plus, great fielder. And in case, Rahul says, I don't want to be 50 overs chokkanna, you come and keep, and he'll obviously do that. So it gives a lot of options. I'll drop Shreyas rather than, going towards the semi-final and then making that change, which we, of course, ghost of 2019 will come back again. So yeah, that's that.
So, guys, I think we should talk about probably what was the game of the tournament, the Trans-Tasman Derby, and who better than a fake Aussie and a fake Hyderabadi to take us through that.
Boys. As I've said many times, call me a fake Aussie as many times as you want. But मेरे को fake Hyderabadi नको बोलो रे. इंडे की बेर इस्माइल भाई को फोन करता हूँ मैं. खुंदल के मारते हौले लोगों को. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, he's been practicing that line for the last 1 week.
I have. I Hashtag the Angres. I love that movie. I love that movie. Everyone who has had any connection to Hyderabad should watch that movie. Coming back to the game, what an amazing match, eh? What an amazing match.
Yeah.
The game of the tournament, right? Good to see Australia hitting their stride. So I'll concede my point that I made in the previous game. Good to see Australia hit their stride. New Zealand did what they do best. They hung on. They hung on at every point. They capitalized on their chances. And who better to realize it than fans who bleed blue, especially in 2019? We won't talk about that for now. They tried to set themselves at a chance of victory. Unfortunately, they lost too many wickets, right? However, with Australia, I'm still not fully convinced. The middle order hasn't fired. They scored about 36 in the middle order at about a run a clip, right? And if you look at the table, Australia's only won one game against the top four, right? And that was with New Zealand. So that being said, the signs augur well for the Australians, which sets my Indian heart aflutter, according to the Bard. So that's where it is. I'll give it to the next Aussie, which is Vijay.
Thanks, PK. Thanks for asking the opinion of a real Aussie this time around. So I will speak now. Look, I'm actually doubtful about what your intentions are with the Australian team. Do you want to actually see them in the World Cup? Because I don't think that middle order was weak, man. Like they scored almost 400 that match, for God's sake. I know, the openers got a great start and all of that, but come on, everybody fired. That's the kind of game where everyone needs to pitch in with a quick 40 rather than 10 daddy hundreds. That's not going to happen. So I feel like Australia did everything they could, and they won the game like the champions that they are known to be. New Zealand won hearts again and lost the game. So there's that. I mean, I would not want to be Jimmy Neesham ever, because that's like setting yourself up for more heartbreaks than a high school boy would. So yeah, it's just it was just a painful match to watch for me towards the end. But what a great game! What a great game! Probably the game of the World Cup so far. Unless you count some of the Netherlands games. I mean, there was another cracker of a game that very evening where Bangladesh almost had a chance to upset Netherlands, but they didn't.
That is all we talk about Bangladesh. Anyway, sticking with the Australia-New Zealand theme, Ritvik, what do you reckon?
So, talking of Jimmy Neesham, I think Neesham owes a lot to Martin Guptill for extending his career, because if you guys remember, back in 2019, had Guptill not run Dhoni out, the last over would have been bowled by Neesham. And Neesham is very much the kind of bowler that Dhoni has built his career on. Slow base bowlers, slightly low on confidence, and Dhoni would have whacked that guy out. That's a phenomenal game. The intensity shown by these two teams in yet another high-scoring game at the World Cup was unprecedented. That reminded me of the 1996 World Cup game that these two teams played at Chennai when New Zealand batted first, got 285 odd on the back of a fantastic 130 by Chris Harris, and it took a century from Mark Waugh and a half century from Steve Waugh to chase that total down in the final overs. A question for my friends here: who was the captain of the New Zealand side in the 96 World Cup, and what was peculiar about the way he was appointed?
Lee German.
Was it?
Yes.
Sorry, who's that?
Lee German. Lee German. The guy who made his captaincy and test debut in the same match. And before Australia had Tim Paine as a temporary wicket-keeping captain, the Kiwis had Lee German.
Did Lee Jarman also resign like Tim Paine because he was sexting another colleague?
Not that I know of. but
he wasn't Tim Paine. He was permanent pain.
but there are stories. There are stories about Lee German as well. So the guy wasn't captain for a very long time. He played some 10, 12 odd test matches and 30 odd ODIs. And there are rumors that the senior pros such as Chris Keynes and Adam Parore did not like him much, and they would feign injuries, not play all the matches, etc. And finally, the poor chap had to be shunned out.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Pakistan here and not New Zealand. Okay, sorry. Did I miss it?
Yeah, it sounds a bit like Pakistan.
Sounds very Pakistan. They're exporting their brand of cricket.
Hey, talking about the other cliffhanger that happened, South Africa versus Pakistan, the game that, eventually was won by the side that was not good at losing. That was it. And South Africa almost choked. Pakistan became, just Pakistan was, and finally, Maharaj with Jai Mahakal killed it at the end. But
On his bat.
yeah, but I do not find Babar Azam's obsession with making Nawaz Joginder Sharma and having him bowl the last over very fascinating. I don't know what is his mind. And Nawaz would obviously inevitably bowl a wide because Joginder Sharma bowled one in 2007. Crazy stuff.
Mate, I have to pitch in here. Look, I was looking at the scorecard and I was wondering why the fast bowlers were not bowling at the death. Turns out all the fast bowlers had finished their spells and Pakistan still had 2 overs to go. So, the ball had to be given to Nawaz. The other option they had was a guy called Osama. I'm pretty sure he would have bombed.
Oh,
So,
we are gonna
yeah.
get so banned. Stop right there, and I'm gonna start looking at the other games that we have. Preview of the other games. So first thing, Afghanistan and Sri Lanka. I reckon that's gonna be a tight one. Hoping for Afghanistan to get another scalp. The Pune pitch has probably been one of the truer surfaces. They've only had one game, the India versus the team that shall not be named, i.e. Bangladesh, and India won comfortably there. So hoping for a cracker. Ritvik, your thoughts on New Zealand versus South Africa, and then India versus Sri Lanka, and then Vijay gets Bangladesh versus Pakistan.
So New Zealand versus South Africa should be an exciting game, but pretty inconsequential for the World Cup because the top four looks to be pretty much fixed. Only the number 2s and 3s will get decided based on this game, but my bet is on New Zealand.
I would like to see New Zealand win, but I was supposed to comment on another game. South Africa versus, what was that? Bangladesh versus Pakistan. Couldn't care less, man, honestly.
Can we have Manan speak about Bangladesh, please?
Why? No, why should I do that? No.
All right.
Why are you bullying Vijay and me, man? This is not fair. This is not fair at all.
No one cares about Bangladesh, of course. But it's going to be a cracker of another game. It's like whoever wants to lose most. Not that there is any allegations of match fixing or whatnot, but both are equally shit.
Can we just touch upon just this one thing that I've been noticing in the past few games that have been interesting where, the underdogs or, teams have been really, really competitive on? I think that's the fielding. The fielding's been top-notch from all of these close games that have been won. South Africa, the Netherlands have been amazing on the field. And that's one of the reasons why that was the main differentiating factor between Bangladesh and Netherlands in the last game. And likewise with, the Australia-New Zealand game as well. So a lot of it seems to come down to fitness, funnily enough, because this is a format that a lot of teams haven't been playing frequently enough. So 50 overs out there in the field and staying alert and, the gamesmanship and all of that. Thoughts on that?
And 8 kg mutton doesn't help either.
No, very well said. In fact, Dinesh Karthik was also saying in the commentary yesterday that the best wicketkeeper of the tournament has been from Netherlands, and I believe DK would know a thing or two about wicket keeping. So very rightly said.
Not more, just a thing or two.
I was gonna say that basically means stay off the biryani, son, to Babar Azam and the Pakistanis, right? Just stay off the biryani if you can. Anyway, that's the show for today. That's all we have time for. Thank you very, very much for listening into the Common Fan podcast. Take care, all of you. Listening to the next episode, and happy playing cricket, watching cricket, talking about cricket. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.